We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
I'm back. That still has a nice beat to it. Still seated twerking to bounce. New Year. And that song still has a vibe in 2025. Also, it's time for a new intro. I am in with a podcast change. I added the F.A.A.F to it. But I'm back with the same formula that has allowed me to be successful in the past. I've set realistic intention. I plan on being present and following through, but I still intend to remain petty and hold grudges. Not all intentions need to be positive. Also, I will be unengaged and unbothered by people and things in my life that do not serve me. That means parasitic people, unsolicited judgments, biased newspapers, and mainstream banks. I will not apologize for maintaining my mental peace. Happy and unbothered and at peace because I'm at unbothered. All day, every day, being unbothered is my way. Join me.
To my homegirl Naquita J. Elmore, Najee. Lift every chair and swing till all them white folks scream. Thought y'all could run up on our black king. I'm glad the squad pulled up, dedicated to Nuck if you buck. May it resound loud as the rolling sea. Throw your hats high in the air until Unc comes with the chair. Swim the seas until our cousins come and they rescue me. Let this be a lesson to y'all. Remember the Montgomery Brawl, where white folks fucked around and they...
I'm hopeful that my TV is not being picked up as far as background, but the most noise I hope you'll hear is, oh, yip yappy at the... Too funny. But anyways, Woke History, the Black History Month edition. You know, I have found that bullies deflect and then they'll go after the little guy. But in this age of political shenanigans, who think by doing some jackleg executive order, we're not supposed to say woke, we're not supposed to celebrate Black History Month, but all this is making most people is do the blackity is of black things and dare people to do or say anything. I'm going to just be like and tag Niecy Nash's the what we want y'all to do. That means if you are not black, if you are not brown, this month and probably every day after this month, we just gonna need y'all to do these 5 things. Shut up is number 1. This is not for you. We don't need you to comment. Shut up, Penelope, Karen, and Angel and them. This has nothing to do with you. This is truly about everybody except you. Shut up. And then 4th time, shut up again and just shut Shut up. Just stop talking to us right now. Don't ask me to do anything. Don't explain me to do anything. And why is this so important? Just shut up. You have access to the internet just like I do if you paid your phone bill or you paid EPB or whoever is your internet supplier. Just shut up and leave me alone. Furthermore, you may be a racist bully if you do these things. Bullies will bully until you push back. They'll deflect and they'll go after the little guy. So I figure as long as I say alleged or as long as I don't call nobody's name, I'm good. If you fit this, the following description, you just may be a racist and you may need to stop doing those things or just don't listen to my podcast. How about that? But I think it's pretty much safe to say these things. If you want to deflect and blame DEI for everything, who benefits from DEI? More than the 6% black population that is represented in this country. Vets and white women who the 50-60% of y'all that voted for the other guy that did not vote for Joe Biden, and you are most benefiting from that legislation that they're trying to roll back from everybody just because they don't want us. Also, y'all will cut off your nose. A racist will cut off the nose in spite of their face. They don't care. They're not like the Cadillacs of the world. When nobody else would sell us new cars, Cadillac did all through the civil rights movement until this day. That's why I have a soft spot in my heart. And it was apropos that they provided the tank that is the new car for the president instead of the bitch that won't charge up currently. But I digress. I did not know this. I knew that there was a marked disparity between the buying power and salaries and disposable income for that matter between African Americans and non-African Americans. I was not aware of the extent of the disparity. We make, as a people, about 20% less than most white Americans. And that's just fact. I mean, I know, and that's the other thing. Most of the time, racists don't read, but they need to know that most black folks will actually read you. We have, as of 2019, this is a number that was put out by the Power Coalition for Equity and Justice, and I'll actually put this figure and tag this in my podcast notes. But according to the SELEC Center for Economic Growth, our black buying power is 1.4 trillion in 2019. That's higher than the gross domestic product of Mexico, an entire country. Just the black buying power in this country in 2019 was expected to grow up by 1.8 trillion by 2024, and would be almost double that if there was not a salary difference in salary as it is. Meaning, if you ran the numbers and you looked at the numbers, if we had equal salary and we were paid the same as our non-black brothers, we would even have even more disposable income and would spend even more. So I'm also very interested in, I saw the Reverend Al Sharpton speak about a 90-day study looking at those companies that are rolling back their DEI initiative. If we could really hit them in the pockets, I would say even at $1.8 trillion, that's nothing to sneeze at. But what if we did? Is it really make a difference? I think it would. If you lost just millions and millions or $1.8 trillion because you don't care about how y'all want to treat us, we tried to tell you. These are the things that you actually have to do. Don't just be about it, talk about it, do something about it. But y'all think, oh, we don't have to do that anymore. Okay, don't do it anymore. We can protest by just not supporting your companies. And we don't care. I personally don't care what that study is going to show because I stopped fucking with most of y'all once people started sending me that list in November or December of 2024. Again, I'm not going to be I'm not that type of Negro that actually will turn the other cheek, nor am I that type of Negro that's going to sit at Woolworths on the bar because you won't serve me and demand that you serve me as people yell at me and spit in my face. Not going to be that type of Negro that walks up and down a Selma Bridge as they turn the fire hoses on me and with a banner. That's not how I protest. But I can find the black person or black owned business that actually gives me what I actually need. I don't need to go in a Target. I don't need to go to Walmart. I don't need to frequent places like the meat market in Hickson that actually thought it was a waste of time and was looking at me down their nose because I was in their meat market. I don't have to do any of those things. When I got people like Les Barbecue that can ship from Texas, or I can go to Atlanta and get the food in the igloo and bring it back to my house, or get it shipped to my house, or make it myself, or decrease the red meat intake anyways. So again, is it economically sane in this climate not to treat us badly? Probably not. Because I can truly say a lot of people are just like my big back, bad knee, lazy behind self. We could protest by withholding our dollars. So there you go. And you got to ask yourself, is it worth rolling back DEI or even Black History Month? Worth it? I got 1.8 trillion reasons to say that it probably is not, and you may want to reconsider that. Just saying. Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. So take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere. Ways to know and ways to grow, a temporal rainbow. I can be anything. So take a look, it's in a book, a temporal rainbow. A temporal rainbow. So I will make a comment on Holly Stephen King because I've been reading this for the last several weeks and making commentary on it throughout the month of January. So now that I'm in Black History Month, I will be following along the read of King by EID. I don't know how to EID. And it's all biography of Martin Luther King, all of the thousands of pages of declassified of the real man. Just when you think you didn't know, you knew everything about Martin Luther King, we get another tomb. And I know I started reading it years ago when it first dropped, at the behest of, because what's his name? The black guy who tips. He basically read it on their show and they discussed it. And I thought it was a pretty dope book. However, I had to put it down because it's like over like 700 pages. That and Ida, A Sword Among Lions. It's about Ida B. Wells. So I'll be picking that up in time for next week's podcast and what my thoughts are on it. But I'm going to finish up this portion. I've gotten up to page like 216, 217. And at least because it is Black History Month, I'm actually going to comment on Stephen King's handling of Black women. One of the supportive characters who to me is a main character is Jerome Robinson's sister, Barbara, who is like, I don't even think she's 18 yet, but she's a poet, and she basically becomes an acolyte of Olivia. And her story arc actually begins because of her association with some serial killer in a previous iteration of Stephen King's book, which, besides Holly, there's other books of Stephen King that I have not read. And I'm going to have to go back to find out, because the teenager shows up in a previous book where Holly actually is the antagonist. The white PI is the antagonist in one of his previous iterations. But she's a great poet because she's a great poet because she's a great writer and who is Black. And it's her Blackness that it's like he's careful to give her props, not in a kind of a condescending, paternalistic kind of way, because he's not come out outright and said that he doesn't see color. He recognized and he basically pays homage to her color. And it looks like he basically, I don't know so much if he envies her talent, but I believe it's more the youth of that Olivia envies, because I'm starting to get the feeling that Olivia game recognizes game, and Olivia, the lady that's getting ready to turn 100 years old, recognizes that this little Black girl is extremely talented and may actually be more talented than her. But I believe it's going to be her association that not only saves Barbara's life, in a lot of ways, I think she saves Olivia's life because she gives her purpose and something to look forward to. And that, to me, and her youth and her talent all do all of those things, because it seems like she has a new vigor. Also, without knowing why she hates Emily Harris so much, it may put Barbara in the cannibals' crosshairs, but I'm hopeful that with her having the backing of her brother and Olivia, and also Barbara's youth, that's what's going to actually end up saving her own life, as well as helping to get the Harrises caught. This is what I'm hoping. No, this I have not. As I said, I'm only halfway through the book, but I can only conjecture this in her full story arc. Also, now it appears that Holly is on the trail of the disappearance of Ellen Kraslow. I didn't comment on Ellen previously. She was the one that was the vegan and refused to give in and eat the raw liver, because I'm sure they were only doing that to increase her stem cell production and her blood production. And they ended up shooting her in the head because how dare she, this black woman janitor, and I didn't know it at the time, that how dare she not do what the white cannibals say. And it was wild that Holly traced Ellen Kraslow's back to a trailer park where the manager, the white manager of the trailer park, was basically saying, you don't have to wear your mask, because COVID is a hoax. And I'm sure that Holly's mother possibly said and was talking to the nurses crazy like that, even when they were putting her on a ventilator and she ended up drowning in her own juices. But COVID is a hoax. But the black retired lady that lived next to Ellen Kraslow was like, who is saying was like, you could take off your mask if you are double vaxxed, because now I am. And she recognized that. It's like, black women, we'll save you, but you got to listen to us. We've done it for decades. We've taught your kids, taught you how to wipe your ass and your legs, and we try to teach your kids, but you don't want to listen to us. And we could save the world. We could save this country. Y'all don't want to listen to us because you think your privilege is going to absolve you of wrongdoing and of stupidity, when it just makes you more stupid. So, no, Stephen King didn't write that. This is my take on this. And I'm just impressed his handling of the Ellen Kraslows and the Barbara Robinson. And now the introduction to this new character, Imani McGuire. Tall, thin, white afro, like a dandelion puff, who is described to be a queen, but standing in the middle of a double wide trailer. That's only us right there. And it's so dope. And I think it's well handled. And this is why I always read Stephen King, not just and try and get over the scariness. And it's the weird thing. The humanness of his, like the cannibalistic villains who are also maggots, but they're still humans, and they do some, and it just goes back. Humans are humans, and they could do some fuck shit in the dark, but it always comes to light. And I think Stephen King does an amazing job of writing their humanness and not be too hokey about their base evil. We're a messy bunch, the shady bunch, the shady bunch. I hope Fraternal Checks is working part of the shady bunch. So what's the deal with the real tea on reality TV? I have not been as consistent with my podcast listening. In the last couple of days, I may have to start listening to Reasonably Shady, because now Robin Dixon is not on Real Housewives of Potomac, and I just watched them on What's watch what's happening. I had no idea because I don't watch Traders. She was killed early. Um, Not surprising because I think she's too nice, and she, in all of her shade, I think Giselle and her former first lady, Ness, she would have been great on Traders. And she would have clocked the T and been shady and killed them all ruthlessly. It's just that Robin is just so unengaged, and she still seems to look for the best in people. And that's why it was clocked earlier on and she was gotten rid of before. And she probably had an issue with alliances or forming true alliances because she, in all of her tenure as a real housewife, it wasn't like she was always built to truly be a housewife. It's like she's one of those people. I don't know if she's just too lazy or I think that has a lot to do with it. And being invested, it takes work to be shady and consistently be shady. And I don't think she's just not built that way. Now, Giselle, yes. Jizzy, yes. Speaking of Real Housewives of Potomac, Karen Huger's duplicity and Mia still be lying. I don't know. I think my expectations are already real low as it has to do with reality TV. And Mia is so sad because I think she literally doesn't remember her situation, and she only presents what she can remember. It's like from point A to point B, or from point A situation to point B situation. She literally does not seem to remember. And she's such live in the moment. She can't remember that she probably always was in a certain moment before. That's why, and she seems to be so nice and evidently so sweet that you can't fault her. But people really, I don't know this lady, but from what I've seen on the show, it's hilarious because she genuinely is a live in the moment type of person, but she has such bad memory. She doesn't know the previous moment. She only can present what moment she's currently in. What I can truly think is the moment that she actually is presenting is truly authentic and it's not produced, and it probably is crazy because of her bad memory. If you, and I think you won't be so, or as a viewer, you won't be so disappointed in what you are seeing, because all I can probably say is whatever moment that you are presented with is probably authentically what Mia's real moment is. At least she doesn't deflect, because I don't think she can't deflect because she doesn't remember enough to deflect and how to deflect. She really is kind of a dizzy blonde, but you can't fault her. And it would just be better if she had someone that was consistently in her life that truly was not bipolar, off meds, or not on enough meds, that could actually redirect her in a positive light and also show her comeback, and just be able, that's not also on the come up like her, also not on the come up like herself, Jackie, and that authentically wants the best for her, can redirect her and remind her, okay, this is what the moment you're living in now, but you remember that you basically posted this and how this will look crazy. But if you are just into what moment they're in now and is it authentic for that period in time, then she's great. But if you try to follow it, it doesn't make a whole bunch of sense, because I don't think she actually has anybody consistently in her life at this time that can redirect her in a positive manner or give her the strength to let ink go, because you would easily be able, if you really were about that life, you would have gone ahead and divorced and gotten him help, Gordon help. Because now you're not dependent on his salary because he ain't got one. And Ink, either you be with him or you would not be with him. And you would not have to have some type of connection, because it doesn't appear that y'all or either one of your partners are with this polyamorous kind of situation. You possibly have to choose. And if you're going to have to choose, you're going to have to be with the person that makes you be your best self. And if they're not it, for you to be your best self, for yourself as well as for your kids, if neither one of them are doing it, then both of them are got to need to be X. That's just me. But at least I can appreciate whatever moment that she's in. I think it is fucked up, but it is her authentic self. At least she's not trying to deflect, i.e. Karen Huger. Do I think that Karen Huger is gotten let go from Real Housewives of Potomac? No. Do I think she needs to be on pause to reevaluate just her life in general and get the help that she needs? Yes. And we're never going to really know unless she is going to be one of those people that's going to truly spill the real tea and see recovery, or is she going to still present some kind of fake front? And because she doesn't want to be judged. That's what I think. That it appears that video was from her house. And if she had just been real, if she had actually had somebody in her life that would have made her stand up and authentically stand up, admit she was wrong. Also, admit that this is not her first time at the rodeo. She has had multiple DUIs. And to basically explain what Sharice has basically told us for years. We've known about her dalliances. We've known about a lot of this tea since season 2 or 3. So why is it now that you're still trying to cover this shit up instead of saying, I'm going to be vindicated? Girl, how are you going to be vindicated? And the lawyers couldn't do it. Ray couldn't do it. Her daughter won't do it. And I don't think that's her place anyways. And none of you hoes on this cast would do it. So what is it going to basically take? If she's going to be put on pause, and if she's not going to basically want to address and basically instead of deflecting and coming back, shooting back with anger and basically saying, I was toe up and I had been getting toe up at this place. No, I should have never driven. I really could have hurt myself or hurt somebody else and shown some contrition instead of saying I'm going to be vindicated when all of the evidence was to the contrary. That's what would have been very authentic, and you would get even more Ladams or whatever, or people that would be on your side would advocate for you to basically come back. Because girl, you're going to need that check if you're going to continue to fight this course, or you're going to have to pay for restitution. So with that said, her duplicity is what got her possibly put on pause. And I really don't want to see her, if she's not going to be authentic about her contrition to what has happened as far as this DUI and everything else. If you don't feel that you owe it to me or anybody else, then why are you on a reality show? I'm actually really excited about Real Housewives of Atlanta. The trailer just dropped and it looks really dope. I'm wondering if Kenya has been put on pause or was she terminated? I really haven't had time or the energy of wanting to look that up, but it's going to be very interesting. I'm glad that they brought back OGs, and the mix is going to be such. These new people are going to have interesting storylines, I hope, or they're not going to keep trying to have a moment. How real are they going to be? And it's going to be interesting for the viewer to tune in. I'm excited because everybody looks beautiful, look like they took their Ozempic and stopped eating, unlike myself, but I digress. It does look dope, and it's basically supposed to drop, I believe, in March. Married to Medicine is boring, but this last episode, it wasn't actually interesting until the end because I need me some more quad web. Basically, Quad showed up with her baritone fine chocolate boyfriend and got drunk on the rum punch. And Dr. G is showing his ass. She was just basically agreeing with him, basically saying that you sweet tea, because it's basically, she's like, dude, I've actually moved on. Look at this nice manly man that I actually have. It is such a step up from you. But he also got drunk on the rum punch or drank the Kool-Aid laced with rum. And now he's all in his field saying, I fought for my wife and my marriage, but it was toxic. Yes, it was toxic. Quad said that. You've admitted to that. You've moved on. You have this young woman who's same age that Quad was when you married her. She's moved on successfully. Her man is fine. You've gotten married to your sweet tea. Why are you so sloppy and you want to blame her for what? I hope Quad's boyfriend did beat your little squilly voice ass, because you all up in your feels for no reason. Both of you have evidently moved the freak on. Why are you tripping now? And why are you coming against that man knowing he could beat your ass? I don't get it. I think Quad's boyfriend is hood adjacent and he can throw hands if he wants to. Not your little hand, old butt. Go sit down somewhere, Dr. G. I also think that Phaedra's so messy, and she bought her one-time hookup, jump off, and then bring back Apollo, who is not coming with his wife. I think it's messy, but it does make from compelling TV because the rest outside of Quad, the rest of y'all, and Heavenly, if y'all would just let Heavenly be messy and caustic, but she does go too far. But I think the positivity to that is a combination of Phaedra and her shadiness, her mess, and Quad, because the rest of y'all is dumb and stupid and boring. Also, am I the only one that was confused by Love and Marriage Huntsville's reunion? I believe that reunion was probably just as unwatchable as most of the season. From every milk dud shaped black man there, nobody answered a question straight. And the women also, I wasn't impressed with the fashion. Carlos King, you look good. But the white feathers and the super Joan Crawford shoulders, I was not impressed with anybody's gear at this reunion. And I was less impressed with some of the all of the answers, because none of the answers were straightforward. All of them were sidestepping and deflective. I saw no resolution, and there was no reason for me to even rewatch it. There was no memorable moments except for my confusion as the questions that we wanted answered. The questions were asked, but none of them answered any questions. If anybody should be put on pause to reevaluate their level of life, Huntsville should be just that. I'm also now trying to figure out is if I should be watching Young, Famous, and African. This is the third season. Last season just appeared to be a bunch of contrived moments. I'm I'm not sure. I'm watching this first episode. I'll get back to you on, is it worth watching? Do I believe any of this shit? But if I see some beautiful, it looks like the off season, a whole bunch of people got some work. Somebody got new stylists because their fashion is fashioning. But if the math ain't mathing, I'm going to actually probably have to do some little bit more research as far as, is it worth watching all 8 episodes, or is it a chop? So with that said, is how I'm going to end this part of the show. Maybe a watch on that, on YFA. Another thing I noticed about Carlos King, I did not like that reunion. It is clear. What I also did not like is the fact that it seems like his stars think they are better or more so than their bosses. The way that more, what's his name? Old Milk Dudhead #1, Holt, was not asking the questions and just showing how much he was an idiot. I think he probably pled no contest because that means you can be found guilty but never admitting to guilt. I'm not sure if he had to change that because he wanted to appeal. Maurice, the lawyer, how he douchily did not answer the questions, but it made sense because he's not going to admit to anything until that case was clearly dismissed. Self-incrimination, he paid attention that day in his law school class. Melanie didn't answer the questions. Nobody they all thought they were bigger than their boss who was sitting right there. I can't imagine, because anybody that would have treated that white dude and Cohen like that definitely would have been told to shut the fuck up, sit down, and get paused. And it would not shock me if Huntsville now goes on pause until they realize who basically truly signs their check. And that's Kingdom Reign in Entertainment. They better recognize before they get canceled, because from what I can see, all of them, they about to get their bags messed up for the tomfoolery. So with that said, all of y'all in the bubble that is reality TV, none of y'all are exempt from that check. None of y'all can just go somewhere else, host outside of your name being tied to that show. Don't get it twisted. Y'all better recognize and put some respect on that man's name, because he still is the owner of Kingdom Reign, and he's getting ready. Feels to me that y'all getting ready to be sat down. So next, Tara Udy. I'm not even going to mention the creator's name and how I came across this particular account, because algorithms are a trip. However, I found out about Kevin Udy, who's the formerly PD, and now he is a turned comedian. I know about him, his kids. His daughter is my spirit animal, even though I think she's a sociopath in the making. But that's neither here nor there. Man calls his own kids sociopaths. I wouldn't want to pick a fight with this white girl. Just saying. However, Kevin Udy of Instagram fame, wannabe comedian, recently got married to now Tara Udy. I was doing my doom strolling, as I should not be doing, and I came across her post on Instagram. And I thought about it a little bit before I basically hit the 3 dots and clicked unfollow and block. This is going to be interesting. I'm like, as soon as she said, I can't stand her husband either, and how she bought her award because evidently she didn't watch the Grammys, and she said for good reason. I forgot the Grammys came on last night. I was not aware until she mentioned it that Cowboy Carter, Beyonce's album, won Country Album of the Year. Beyonce was just as shocked as Taylor Swift was, who presented the award. That was shady also with the Academy. Y'all tripping. It sounds like you can't mention Beyonce without mentioning the white girl, but that's neither here nor there. But this lady, Tara Udy, thought it was within her white privilege to sit on the Instawebs and go off about how much that she bought her award and how much she doesn't like her anyways. Okay, girl. But I know you've been out the country, but you do realize this is fuck around and find out month, right? Affectionately, everything post-elections. We told you bitches not to vote for that fool. You should have voted for the black lady. We call it Black History Month. You try to cancel it, but we gonna be Blackity Black Month. This is what you're saying today. You chose today, of all days, to say this BS. Also, you also realize that the Bey-Hive is already pissed off for those very reasons and are unhinged and not medicated properly. You do realize all of this. You pick the Blackity is Black Month to go off on Beyonce in your white privilege, and you don't expect blowback. We getting ready to uninvite your husband to the cookout. We didn't want your ass in the air anyways, because we know you probably gonna bring the potato salad with the nasty raisins in it. However, we were going to give you a benefit of the doubt and treat you as black adjacent because of your wigger husband, but now we get ready to disinvite all of y'all. So I'm waiting to see how this goes. Is she going to have, I unfollowed her, but I may see from the creator that I do follow, or maybe Kevin will put it on his page, you know, how she says, this is not me and I'm so sorry, after they dox your ass. So, unless you get ready to stay in Scotland or Ireland or wherever the white place you were in the last couple of weeks and you forgot who the fuck you were dealing with, try us again and keep that crap to yourself. I didn't even unlike it or waste my time commenting on it because I knew I was recording my show. But I want to see just what happens with those types of statements and anybody else that decide during the Blackity is Black month of the month to go against somebody with unhinged fans. Girl, good luck with that. Talk to your homeboy that said that warned y'all, your body, my choice. Look what happened to him and how he had to go into hiding. Am I saying that the Bey-Hive is like that and is unhinged as him? Yeah, I don't know, girl. All I got to say, your comments seem to be haterade, and I can almost guarantee everybody that follows her, everybody that downloaded or bought that album on vinyl, all of them would agree that she got it based on true sales. She didn't have to buy anything. She didn't have to stream or get some robot to do anything. So I don't know why you would have thought it was saying on Al Gore's interwebs to put that nonsense out there. Because, as I always ask y'all, shutting up is free. So do you want something, a chair to the head or punched in the neck? Your invite by association is revoked. And girl, you don't want all that smoked. You have been warned. But you basically are a typical Karen and think your privilege is going to protect you. No, it's not, girl. No, it's not. You better recognize and stay and leave Beyonce's name out your mouth. How about that? You can take the girl out of the hood, but you can't take hood music out the girl. But I'm going to end this with a word, just as I started this podcast. Do or do not do. There is no try. And that's a word from Yoda. I hope I have conveyed just how much fun I have had in creating this podcast. I've got my mojo back. Just set your intention or reset your intention. It could be daily if necessary. Mine is peace. No mental dumping over here. If I'm acting like I'm not listening, I'm probably not. I'm not your therapist. I'm not a therapist. Keep the crazy to yourself, child. You do you and leave me be. The sooner you figure that ish out, the happy you will be. So this is what I want to convey in this podcast. And that wraps another of F.A.A.F has a fro. Join me next time as I throw shade and point out the shade and simply have fun. Y'all have a great new year. What, y'all? What?